guess one of the things I also look at is the attributes. And the attributes, there are a few things I look at. And the first thing is the predefined type. This is kind of like the second level of categorization after you get the IFC class. And so, for example, if you have a slab, then you can choose a predefined type from floor, base slab, or landing slab, let's say between a stair, or something like that. So it's good to make sure that these are set to something sensible. So if I take a look at the slabs down here, well, all of them say floor slab, which is not quite right. And this is pretty important because if you only get the class right, but not the predefined type, then the level of categorization is pretty coarse and usually not sufficient enough for other tasks you might want to do with it, like FM, or if you want to do connect it to building sensors or who knows what. So the predefined type, there's also a possibility of setting a user-defined predefined type. The concept is that if you set this to user-defined, let's say you have a slab that's not a floor or a landing or a base slab or a roof slab or something like that, and you have your own type of slab that is not part of IFC, then you can create your own custom user-defined one. So if you set this to user-defined, then you should fill out your own custom predefined type in this object type attribute. But you can see in this file, we actually already have a value in the object type attribute. And that's because, well, this file is wrong. It shouldn't have an attribute there. What I should be seeing here is completely blank. There shouldn't be anything here. And only when this is set to user defined, then I should see this attribute being filled out. The reason I look for this is firstly because it gives a hint of the quality of the IFC export, but also because this is a common source of confusion. People read this and they think that this is the construction type of the object. They say that this is a 250 thick slab, and that's where it's stored here, whereas it's actually just a poor data quality in the IFC. The correct place to see the construction type is down here. You can see it links to an IFC slab type. That IFC slab type will then have a name, and it's not a very good name, which we discussed names already, as well as a predefined type. So over here, we actually have the predefined type defined twice, once on the type object, again on the occurrence, and it's just poor data quality. And then we have this kind of extra data here, which shouldn't be there at all. So there's multiple hints here of there being poor data quality. Another useful attribute to look at is the tag attribute. And this holds the element ID from the original authoring application, if you're not working with IFC natively. So very often, if there are mistakes in the IFC, which there are, you would have to go and communicate to the original authors how to fix that. And many of those software cannot search by the IFC ID. So you give them this tag, and that allows them to find the element. But there's usually not much more to look at in the attributes. We already covered the name. Just wanted to highlight that predefined type is a pretty good subcategorization as well, which you can see over here. And everything will have a subcategorization. In this case, this column, you can see this one is done properly. See, this column does not have, well, semi-properly. It doesn't have a predefined type, which is good because it inherits it from the column type. It does have an object type, which is bad. And if we go to the column type, you can see that the predefined type is over here, set to column.